Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your March 2020 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, I actually won't be offering those until around April. If I do start them up earlier than that, just keep an eye out for the community section of the channel where I'd make an update. Or at the very least, when I start posting the April videos, I'll make an update as for when I'll start them up again too. As for what we have in front of us, this is what I call the Bridging the Gap spread. And the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. The cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. These are the past energies, present energies, future energies. Once we get through those, we'll pull some oracle cards with some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. As for the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. And keep in mind, since this is a general reading, if you feel more like your energy is more on the right side, whereas the other person's is on the left, then definitely trust that as well. All right. So with all that out of the way, past energy on your side, we have magic. So this is the equivalent of the Magician card. This can just be saying that maybe you guys are working on mastery of some things in the past. Maybe you guys have had a luck cycle working in your favor. For example, maybe this is even pointing to when you guys had Jupiter moving through your sign. Maybe you just had things rolling for you in a certain way, and maybe that could have kept you busy in a way too, though. So maybe that even kept you away from the connection in some way, shape, or form. But also, this could just point to manifestation energy too, which is to say, maybe you had made your mind up that you were ready for this connection. So because of that, you might have been trying to manifest it in your life. Past energy on their side, we have the Two of Swords. So this is actually Libra energy. So this could be a bit of indecisive energy. If we see here, we see the guy is extending the rose to the feminine energy there, and it looks like she's, pretty much declining it. She's looking away from the offer. So if this was you guys, I feel like more likely this would represent your energy, since we do see the Magician in the past energy, which is to say you guys are probably the ones taking action. So this was someone you might have extended a love offer to, and maybe they might have declined it in the past. Now, it can be a Libra you were dealing with, or possibly this could be pointing to someone you were friends with and you tried to take things to the next level, and maybe they were reluctant to do so. Not really seeing a reason why that would be the case just yet, but it could even be, if they did see that you had a lot of other things going on in your lives, and maybe they thought that that wouldn't be the best time to get into a connection with you, but that's what I'm seeing there. Present energy on your side, we have oppression in reverse. This is the equivalent of the Tower card and the Nine of Coins. So a bit of a contrast of energy here. Let me just put this in the upright while we talk about it. So naturally, the Tower represents a dissolution of ego moment where something that you might have built up to be a certain way doesn't necessarily turn out to be that way. Now, given that we see the Nine of Coins with it too, this can't even just be something outside of your connection where maybe you were leaving some kind of connection behind that, for example, could be career, since this is Virgo energy and Virgo represents your 10th house of career and social status. So maybe if you guys had some kind of career troubles recently, you might be leaving those behind and actually embracing the new opportunities that you have coming your way. This could also be pointing to a shift in energy around the time of the Virgo full moon that we're going to have in March, which would be, I think, right around the end of the first week of March, maybe a little bit after that. So that could be saying here, if you have been feeling a bit of an oppressive type of energy, that should lift for you guys around the time of that full moon. So let's say it could even be around this connection for some of you. Maybe there's some kind of shift in the energy there at that time. Present energy on their side, we have the Seven of Cups. So still more indecisive energy. If we think about the Seven of Cups in traditional tarot, this is usually you see a person with 7 cups in front of them and they don't look like they're seeing those cups clearly. So this could be someone that maybe they have multiple options, and maybe that's why in the past they were reluctant to accept your offer as well. Or in general, they could just have a lot going on in their lives too, and because of that, they might not be as willing to jump into a relationship at this time. And maybe for some of you, you might even come to that realization, where maybe in the past you might have taken it a bit more personally, but maybe now you're just realizing that it's a matter of the timing just wasn't right for you guys. And, maybe that's even communicated in some way to where you feel a little bit more alleviated, like, oh, okay, it's not that they're not interested, it's just that they have other things going on right now, Because with the Two of Swords energy, too, sometimes that could represent someone not necessarily communicating. So, they might just decline the offer, but not really give you a reason why, right? So it does look like for whatever reason, I do still see a bit of a single energy here with that Nine of Coins in the present, but it does seem like your attitude about it is a lot better. And to see the Seven of Cups here, for some of you, it could just be saying that maybe even you're deciding to, leave things up to fate with this connection in particular. For others of you, it could just be saying that maybe now you realize that they have just other things going on and they're not really focused at that on relationships at this time. And I do have to say that this is actually Scorpio energy too. So maybe there's a bit of a trust issue dynamic between the two of you. Because Scorpio representing your 12th house, sometimes that's things you don't necessarily see clearly. And it can also be a Libra with Scorpio placements, since, for example, Libra Sun might have Venus or Mercury in Scorpio or vice versa. So that can just be pointing to who you're dealing with as well. The future position, we have the Three of Staves, the Two of Cups, and the Four of Coins. So interesting energies here. The Three of Staves is actually Aries energy. The Two of Cups is Cancer energy. And the Four of Coins is Capricorn energy. So I could see this playing out a few different ways, but let's break it down with the primary scenario I'm seeing. So with the Three of Staves, this usually represents, it's an energy referred to often as waiting for your sips to come in, where you feel you've put in a certain amount of work and now you're just waiting for the rewards to come in for that work. So this can just be you again. Maybe, like I said, you guys had some kind of a conversation to clear the air, and maybe you found out that, okay, it's just a timing thing for this person. They're not necessarily ready to jump into a connection. So this could be for some of you, you're just waiting for them to come around and get things off the ground with them, because with the Two of Cups here, that represents, starting a relationship. But what always stands out to me with this particular Two of Cups is, if we look in the background, we see the lightning bolt back there. Definitely looks like there was a stormy situation, right? One of the cups is knocked over. So this could just be saying that this is you guys waiting for things to align with this connection. And in the meantime, you could just be closed off and possibly even just putting more of your energy into your finances in the meantime. And that wouldn't surprise me either, because this Magician too, in the past, could be pointing to when you guys had the Mars transit moving through your sign, which was pretty recently. Maybe that had you energized and ready to take on the world, kind of. But now that Mars has recently moved into your second house of finances, maybe that's saying that that's where more of your focus is now anyway. And that could also be what this Nine of Coins is saying, where you're like, okay, maybe you were stressing the fact that you guys weren't getting the connection with this person off the ground. But maybe now things have picked up in your career life, so maybe now you're able to put more energy into your finances. And again, like I said, I feel like there might have been some discussion where you guys do realize that there is mutual interest there, but maybe you guys just can't put all of that energy into the connection at this time. So there's that understanding now to where, okay, eventually we're going to get things off the ground, but in the meantime, right, you still might be disappointed about it a little bit, because we see there's like a person often, looks like this person isn't in the room with her, right? It looks like it's more like an image. So someone who's on your mind. So it's like, all right, well, you might be a little bit reluctant to just, not have the connection get off the ground right now, but other areas of your life might pick up to where it's not as much of a distraction for you. You know what I mean? And then future energy on their side is the Two of Pentacles. So this is actually Capricorn energy as well. But usually when we see the Two of Pentacles in the traditional tarot, it's like someone juggling two pentacles, right? Here, if we look at it, I get a bit of a different vibe, where if we look at the body language of this person, it looks like they're a little bit reluctant to reach out and touch the person, right? So this could just be saying that it could just be someone that's slow to warm up to the idea of the connection, where maybe they do have the interest, but again, like I said, maybe they just had some other things going on in their lives, or maybe they viewed you as someone who was so busy with other things. So like I said, maybe during that Mars transit, you were really bouncing around all over the place. So maybe they didn't feel like that was a good time for the two of you to start something. But to me, I see this as they're kind of warming up to the idea of the connection. And even with that pot, it looks like, there's some steam or smoke rising from it. So to me, that could represent the idea of warming up as well. So it could just be saying that they're warming up to the idea, and that could be, you know, what's shown in the future where you guys will get things off the ground, because at the bottom of the deck on their side, we do have the sun. So to me, that does show that there's definitely interest there. There's an attraction there. But again, like I said, it might have just been more of a timing thing for you guys in the past, and maybe they're slowly getting there. And then bottom of the deck on your side, we have the Four of Staves, which represents, like we were saying when we talked about the Three of Staves, that actual commitment and stability that you're looking for. And then beneath that, we see the Three of Cups too, which is a bit of a celebratory atmosphere. So definitely some positive energy there. And let's see what the Oracle cards add to the mix. So first, we'll look at the Mystic Moon Oracle deck and see if we get anything there. So for those of you who haven't seen this type of reading from me before, I do pre-shuffle this deck before I start recording. And then I'm just looking for jumpers here. So first I'll be looking for any unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you after that. And if I shuffle for a while and nothing comes up, I just take that as a sign to keep it moving. All right, so let's see first if we have any unspoken messages from you to them. Okay, got one there. And let's see if we have any unspoken messages from them to you. Okay, got one there. All right. So, looking at their card, I could already see how that fits perfectly with the cards on their side. But your side, this is a bit more interesting. It says, I wish I could take back the things I said. So I don't see anything here that points to any kind of conflict that you guys might have had. I guess for a small percentage of you, it might be possible that they might have been the ones who were actually extending the offer, and maybe because you had so many other things going on in your life, you might have been the one who declined their offer. You know what I mean? With the Tower in reverse and the Nine of Coins, it could just be showing that you chose to embrace your independence and stay single, and maybe with a little more time, you come to regret that in a certain way, right? Where maybe like, all right, maybe that was a little bit, hasty of me to decline their offer. But for the majority, I don't necessarily see that they were the ones extending the offer. I feel like most of you was you who did. But for those of you who might fit into that smaller percentage, maybe that's what this message is pointing to here. Or, you know what, quite frankly, maybe you guys do have some kind of a conflict at some point, and maybe that's what the Two of Cups with the stormy background is about, which is to say that, you guys might actually have to heal the connection in a certain way. I don't see it being anything huge, though, if that's the case, especially given that the Tower is in reverse. If it were in the upright, I'd feel a little differently. But on their side, this makes a lot more sense. It says, I just wasn't ready for you. So that definitely seems to fit their energy here, where, like I said, the first theme that I was seeing, which was that you guys are the ones extending the offer, they might have declined. And like I was saying, I was feeling like this was more of a timing thing. And like I said, with the Two of Pentacles, getting that vibe of them warming up to the idea of the connection in the future. And then also, like I said, having the sun at the bottom of the deck on their side. This definitely seems to support what we see there, which was it could have just been a timing thing, and maybe, like I said, you guys might have come to the realization about that, and maybe that alleviated the pressure you might have been feeling and made you feel a little bit more comfortable, like, okay, I'm single for now, but, when they're ready, we'll get things off the ground, one of those type of situations. All right. And lastly, we'll see if we get anything from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. So same situation, I did pre-shuffle this deck. And I'm just looking for one card here. We'll wrap up. Okay, nothing's come up yet, and I'll shuffle for a little longer. Worst case with this one, I will pull a random card if we need to, because I do like to wrap it up. Oh, actually got one right there. Okay. So we have Happy Happy. There's the artwork, and the number is 26. So, I mean, at least on the surface, that sounds like a pretty good message too, right? So let's see what that has to say. Okay, it says joy and contentment, a sense of fulfillment, a feeling that all is well. The Oracle's message. Your desires are effortlessly fulfilled now. Find joy in the present moment, whatever is happening, and be satisfied with things as they are. You're free from the shackles of longing and able to experience the liberation that comes from actually being happy moment to moment, for you have chosen happiness over yearning for it. Now is the time for feeling joy for the sake of joy and experiencing contentment. None of this is because of something outside yourself. Your happiness is a result of your being at one with Spirit's plan for your life. All is well. The tide is in for now. Enjoy playfully splashing in it. So interesting wording there with the tide is in for now, because if I look at the oppression, it looks like there's some stormy waves in the background there, right? But to have that in reverse could just be saying, like, maybe for some of you it's just a shift in perspective, which I was seeing where, like I said, maybe you guys might have taken a rejection personally in the past, but maybe you're realizing that it's just more of a timing thing that helps you embrace the current state that you're in a little bit more and alleviates your mood, and then that helps get things rolling in that regard. But hopefully that resonated with you guys. The relationship message says there are moments in a relationship when you just feel good about whom you're with, and you know that your heart is wide open to befriend, to love, and to care for another without wanting anything in return. This is the kind of happy that you just want to share. The appearance of this card in a reading tells you that joy and contentment are here now, not somewhere else or off in a distant future. The grass is greenest right where you stand. Be grateful and delight in your relationship, and if you're seeking one, be happy now. Happiness attracts more of itself like bees to honey. So definitely a pretty interesting message there too. And like I said, maybe this could even be the case, right, where maybe you guys get a bit more settled. Maybe you guys even, with the magician in the past, that could be saying that you were determined to get happiness in your life, right? And you get that change of perspective, and then that could actually end up bringing this connection into alignment in that regard too, right? So either way, it does look like things are going to work out with you guys. It looks like this just might have been a bit of a slow burner, but hopefully that resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.